Stephen Leacock's humorous sketch with the photographer explains his comically frustrating experience at a photography studio. Known for his wit and satire, Leacock presents a humorous critique of vanity, photography, and the absurd essence of physical perfection. The story begins when the author himself visits a photographer's studio to have his picture taken. From the very beginning, the photographer shows no enthusiasm or warmth. Without even a polite greeting, he makes Leacock wait for over an hour. Finally, the photographer escorts him into the inner room where the actual photo session is to take place. In the studio, the photographer places a large machine in front of Leacock and begins evaluating his face critically. Rather than simply taking the photo, he comments that Leacock's face is quite wrong. Though slightly taken aback, Leacock responds with meek acceptance, stating that he too was lived with the same face for 40 years and is well aware of the faults. However, the photographer insists that the picture would look much better if the face was three-quarters full. Determined to create an idealized image, the photographer starts directing Leacock to absurd instructions. He asks him to open and close his mouth, drop his ears, roll his eyes under the eyelids, expand his lungs, bend his neck, turn his face upwards, and rest his hands on his knees. In short, he tries to reshape Leacock's natural expression into what he considers a perfect photographic pose. Throughout this ordeal, Leacock grows increasingly uncomfortable and insulted. The photographer's relentless criticism of his facial features humiliates him. Though he tries to remain patient, the constant interference with his natural appearance becomes unbearable. When he finally decides to rise from the seat in frustration, the photographer quickly takes the photograph. Later that week, Leacock returns to the studio to collect his photograph. The photographer, with pride, shows him the finished picture. However, upon looking at it, Leacock is shocked and confused. He cannot recognize himself. The image is overly edited with drastic changes made to his eyes, eyebrows, mouth, and overall facial expression. It is a completely transformed version of his face, one that is far more attractive yet entirely unfamiliar. Dismayed, Leacock questions, "Is it me?" The image before him bears no resemblance to his actual appearance. What he had wanted was a realistic photograph, a keepsake that his friends might cherish after his death, something that would reflect the real, imperfect face he had always carried. Instead, the photograph was an artificial reconstruction, an idealized version that did not represent his true self. Leacock refuses to accept the photograph. He would rather keep his natural, unimproved face than possess a beautiful image that lacks authenticity. The sketch ends with a humorous but profound message. Beauty lies not in perfection but in accepting one's true self.